Once we're on hands and knees, we're going to work a little bit of cat-cow. All right, so we're going to work through this as we take that low back, take that back to the sky. I want you to actually think about tucking the hips under. So you're trying to pull that belt buckle towards your belly button. Breathe in. And as we bring it back down, fight the urge to look straight up. Actually look forward. We're still bracing through the belly. We're tucking the hips back the other direction. So we're bringing that tailbone to the sky. And we're just going to work this at your pace for about the next 45-ish seconds. Make sure we do have good intent through those hands, through those fingertips. Working that breath. Try to feel those hips. Feel that tailbone move as much as possible, especially when we take that back to the sky. Try to again crunch that belt buckle towards your belly button before taking tailbone to the sky and fighting that urge to overextend and drive that head too high. All right, we're going to go and sit back to a child's pose. When we get back to that position, I'm trying to give you a little different camera angle here. As we sit back, so we walk those hands up in front. I want you to actually take that right hand on top of the left once you're ready. And we're going to sit back and breathe. We've got about a good minute here. If you do need to come out of it at any point, just to reset, you certainly can. But what we're looking for here, outside of that low back and those hips being challenged, I want you to feel right side of the body, so that right hand's on top of that left hand, so we're feeling down through the lat, through the rib cage. If you feel like you've lost that intent on your stretch or that right side starting to open up a little bit more, we can take that right hand even further over top that left. Continue to challenge that right side. We're not going to where you actually lose the stretch. You're losing the intent to get your body to open up. All right, let's start taking that right hand back over. Go ahead and bring those hips forward for me real quick, just to open back up those hip flexors. And as we sit back again, we're going to take that left hand over. Try to sit those hips back. Take your left hand over top your right. Start to feel that left side open up. Again, using that breath to encourage that body to open up, to challenge those in ranges. If you've been guiding or working with us throughout the week in our classes, you're probably feeling a little bit of soreness by Friday. So again, don't go to where you feel pain. We're really just trying to encourage the body to get primed for the day. Give me one more good big breath, and once you get all the way through that exhale, I want you to start coming out of this position. All right, as we come on up, I want you to go ahead and bring your legs out in front of you. All right. We're going to take that left hand over top of the right knee. And we're going to go and lie on back. We're going to bring that right leg over the body. All right. So our goal here is to get that right knee into the floor. Once we do, we're going to reach back with our right hand and grab onto that left foot. Trying to get that chest towards the sky. I know it's easier said than done. My hips are feeling mighty tight from the week. So even that, my right knee's having a little bit of needs a little extra encouragement to get that knee to the ground. But once we can find that position, Just want you to breathe. Again, if you missed that setup, for those of you already in this, go ahead and stay there. For anybody who might have missed that setup, as we roll over to the left, we're taking our right leg over the left. We're grabbing onto that right knee, we're grabbing that left foot, and we're lying on back. Got roughly 15 more seconds here. Breathe. You can probably guess what we're doing next. All right, let's slowly start relaxing out of that position. You can sit all the way up if you like to reset there, or if you want to bring those legs about 90 degrees over top of the hips, we can just drop them off to the right. Taking that right hand, grabbing onto the outside of that left knee, bringing that to the floor, reaching back with that left hand to grab the right foot. I'm going to give a different camera angle real quick. If you're already in that position, you stay there. Again, we're in this position. We're trying to get that knee to the floor, that left knee to the floor. As much as possible, trying to get that chest to the sky. And breathing. All right, we're going to start relaxing out of this. So go ahead and stay on your back. All right. Go ahead and extend those legs out for me. So back and the knees are flat on the ground. I want you to bring that right knee towards your chest, and we're going to grab behind the hamstring below the knee. All right, so we're not right on the knee joint, we're right below it. I want you to try to separate as much tension between the top of your head through that left heel real quick for me, so you're nice and long to the body. Once we create that tension, I want you to take that right heel to the sky, and then back down whenever you need it. We're going to work a little flossing here, so we're going to work more dynamic or stay active in our stretch. And we're trying to create those tension points as much as possible. So we're still nice and long through that left heel, through the top of the head, creating that distance. And then leading the way with that extension through the leg through the heel, not through the toes, the heels leading the way. The goal here is not to encourage pain. Slight discomfort is one thing. But we don't want that body to get to a point where it's trying to fight what you're taking it through. You need one more good rep. Once you're satisfied with that repetition, you can go ahead and switch out of that position, extending through that right leg, bringing that left knee over top of the hip, grabbing below the knee, then working that nice leg extension leading to the heel. Give yourself a quick check if you've kept that tension point through the right leg, so through the long leg that's on the floor. We're still trying to keep that distance between heel through top of head, as we're still working that nice floss on that left hamstring. Give me one more good rep. Once you're satisfied with that rep, as you lower down that left leg, you can use it to help yourself sit up, making life much easier. All right, let's go ahead and come on up to a kneeling position. So we're gonna be in a double kneel position, so both knees on the ground, just so we can reset together. I want you to take that right foot out in front of the body, and then we're gonna start walking it off to the side. All right, so my left leg's still directly behind me, my right leg's off to the side, all right, and we're going to work some rocks as we're almost thinking about the belly button leading the way. That's kind of something silly to think about, trying to open up that adductor inside of the thigh, and then rocking back. We're going to spin about the next minute, much like the floss we just did on the hamstring, where you hold that stretch for a moment or two, and then rocking back. So we're going to encourage some blood flow. We're going to encourage some movement outside of just cranking on the muscle. So the intent of today's morning mobility was to get hips out of the way first. This is going to be our last hip stretch. Of course, we have the other side to do in a moment. And then we're actually going to start working some smaller joints. We're really going to focus on wrist. I know a lot of us may not think about that being a priority area to focus on, but if you ever deal with any elbow issues or even shoulder issues, a lot of that can be caused from the wrist, just like ankles will affect knee and hips. On that note, we are going to finish with ankles as well. So back end of class is focusing on those smaller joints. All right, let's go and switch it on out. Bring that left foot out in front of the body. Let's walk it off to the side. You're going to create about a 45-degree point. So if you're facing a wall, point at the corner. All right. Belly button leads the way as we rock forward. So we're not just going straight at the knee. Okay. We're trying to actually rock forward a little bit, challenging that groin. And you might even feel the ankle a little bit because that heel does need to stay on the ground. About 10 more seconds on this side. Again, you're in charge of how long you want to hold that stretch. If you're following along on the video with me, great. I'm just setting a comfortable tempo for myself as well. But comfortable tempo for you might be a little different. All right, let's go ahead and come back to that kneel position. All right, change the camera angle. You can stay where you're at. We're going to come on all fours. What I want us to do here is we're going to turn the hands around, all right? So palms are flat on the ground, but fingers are faced towards you. If that's a little too much, turn those hands out a little bit. I know it's kind of probably tough to see on the video, all right? So I'm gonna angle it down just a hair, all right? But if you're already in that position, you're still maintaining. Fingers are facing you, palms are on the ground. If this is really intense, again, walk the hands out first and keep walking on until it gets a little more comfortable. But we do want to feel some of that stretch through the forearm. And once we're in that position, I want us to try to work some rocks. So we're just going to sit back a little bit. We're not letting the palm or pretty much the heel of the palm come off the ground. And we're actually trying to engage those fingers into the floor. We're only going to spend about 10 more seconds on this one. We're going to get a little bit more aggressive with the wrist. We're going to work more of a flexion stretch. All right. We'll try to see if this angle will work to show this next move. We're going to take that right hand and we're going to put the back of the hand on the ground. So my palm is facing me. I don't need to press down to feel pain right now. All right. A lot of my weight's in my knees, which is why I kind of take all my body weight off my hands first and then pressing the back of that wrist or that hand into the ground. I'm going to take my left hand. I'm going to press into that palm. So I'm holding it down. If this is already uncomfortable or you feel a good stretch, just stay here. But for the rest of us, what I'm going to try to get you to encourage yourself to do is to rotate that arm back and forth, especially as you take that right arm off to the right, so righty-tighty. You're going to feel the top of that forearm hopefully light on fire. Not painful, but discomfort. We don't really think about stretching our forearms a whole lot. And I want you to breathe as you rotate out to the right. Exhale. You get majority of your weight still back in your legs. I could take my hands off the ground right now and not fall forward. So my hips are shifted back. It's not about adding pressure onto my wrist. It's actually encouraging it to loosen up. Let's go ahead and switch it on out. So again, my weight's in my lower body. I don't have a whole lot of weight in my wrist. I'm taking the back of my hand to the ground. I'm going to lock it in with my right hand. And I'm going to work some rotation. I know it's tough to see the rotation of my arm right now. It's not aggressive. I'm only rotating out about 2 to 3 inches, if we can measure it that way. But I've locked that hand in, rotating out to the left. Really feeling that forearm stretch, not to where I feel pain, and then relaxing back in. At any given moment, this just becomes too much for you. You can come out of it, work some wrist circles instead, especially if you do have any injuries, any ailments going on through the wrist. All right, let's reset those wrists real quick. Give me a quick circle and then palms back to the ground. What we did the first time, we're just gonna do a quick 20-second rock, just because being in that flexion position can feel mighty strange if you're not used to it. So we're gonna try to work that extension through the wrist again. And if you feel pretty comfortable with this movement, you can even press those fingers to the ground and let those palms lift just a hair as you rock back. But again, we're not trying to find pain. It's not about showing off. I don't think anybody can see you right now except for you. So you're just trying to see where your ranges are. All right. I know I have you on the knees a lot today, all right? But we're not thinking hips anymore. We're going to finish off with some ankles as mentioned earlier. So what I'm going to have you do, if you're in that kneel position, we'll start left side. We're going to take that left foot forward. All right, we're going to take that right leg just kind of flat on the ground, so it's behind us and just a nice support. So I could technically come off that left leg. All right, what I'm going to do now is shift my weight onto that left leg, keeping that heel on the ground. And what I'm going to try to do is pull my toes towards my knee, and I'm going to feel my shin start to turn on. All right, heel is still down. Shin is turning on, toes are trying to pull, even though you can barely see my big toe coming off the ground, and then we're going to rock back. And we're going to work that for about the next 45 seconds. We're going to press the knee forward, really challenging that Achilles, and then we're going to try to pull those toes up, feel that shin turn on. That's going to let you know you're doing this correctly. It's called a combat stretch. It's one of my favorite stretches to work ankle mobility, whether I'm going for a run or whether I'm doing deadlifts. To really encourage that ankle to be able to flex. Again, pressing through the heel, pulling the toes up. And let's go ahead and relax. Coming back to that double kneel position, taking that right foot out in front of the body. You can take that left leg kind of cross where you feel most support. Again, notice to where you can take that right leg off the ground. Then we're going to press that knee forward, press the heel, and then really try to pull those toes up. You might notice one side is a little more aggressive than the other. One side really feels more strain in that Achilles or that lower ankle area. You rock back whenever you're ready. This is something to be aware of. Right? Anytime we find an asymmetry as we work through our movements, is something we want to continue to address. One of the biggest predictors of a future injury is going to be imbalance, so we want to have as much balance as possible. About 15 seconds here, and then we're just going to finish off into a saddle pose. Just finishing off with a sit, working the extension through the ankles, and then you can hang out there as long as you like to. All right, once you're ready, let's go ahead and take those feet on behind us, and we're just going to sit on the feet if you can. All right. If you need to kind of rock up a little bit where you don't put too much weight, fine. But if you can go kind of almost dead weight on those ankles without causing any pain,